Welcome to the Believe in the Land show. My name is Andy Billman. Let's take a look back at the Browns' victory and the Cavs win and the Buckeyes rolling and everything else. Stephan Vogt in Cleveland sports. How can you not be smiling? Hi. A Browns good day to you. A Browns good day to you. A Browns good day to you. 44 years of life. That was a top. That was a top win on Sunday. Big time win. Big time spot. Big time everything. Hard to remember games like that where so many things went wonky or weird. I mean, for the Browns to be down 14-0 like that off of a pick six on play 2, and after a 4-and-out, the Ravens marched. I mean, marched right down the field. They get a 14-0. And it felt like the game was over. It did. Felt like the game was over. It felt like the Browns were just not. It just felt like a normal Browns-Ravens Sunday for the past, basically 24 years. It did. Uncompetitive. Browns are outmatched. Not ready for the moment. Sean Watson, sorry, throwing a pick 6. But then something different happened. The Browns actually settled the game down. I mean, a 14-0, a lot of Browns teams, again, packed up their bags and would have quit or would have tried to do things that were not realistic. Kevin Stefanski's past teams would have done that, to be honest with you. Would have tried things that weren't really realistic to what the Browns could do. But the Browns didn't do that on Sunday. They instead went on a 10-play drive that really settled the game down. It was just a field goal. Just a simple field goal, but that field goal, again, helped settle the game down. That was a lot of what I saw. And in the past, the Browns couldn't settle the game down. The Browns did. They settled the game down a little bit. Ravens got a field goal back. Looked like it was one of those days the defense wasn't going to have much of an answer. But after that drive to make it 17-3, really the Ravens offense went into hibernation. And again, I thought one of the key moments in this game, and a thrilling victory, just thrilling victory, was how in the second quarter the Browns settled the game down. They finally took a good 7-minute drive to start at their own 20. They had a lot to do with Jerome Ford 5 yards, Jerome Ford 7 yards. Just little things. Over the middle for 17. But just one of those choppy drives. Didn't have a lot of things up until Jerome Ford had a big run for 28 yards. But again, these long drives that settle the game down. That's kind of what the Browns needed to do, was kind of just let it settle. In the second quarter, I thought that was a key quarter too. They didn't get the lead. They didn't even score a touchdown. But I'd argue that helped settle this game down. Third quarter, OBJ, bleh, touchdowns, like, oh, God. But again, could not have asked for something better than what the Browns did. A 75-yard drive. 17-play, 75-yard drive, taking up 10 minutes plus off the clock. Wore them out. Converting finally into a touchdown by Kareem Hunt, who's becoming a nose for the end zone in tough yard situations. And Watson got 2-point conversion made, 24-17. But we'll talk about all these other plays that were very significant, that were the highlight plays. But the second quarter and that long drive to start the third quarter set the tone. When you're behind like that and you're playing big games like this, especially on the road, you have to have moments where you settle the game down. It's 17-3 and 14-0. Game's helter. It's skelter. You're all over the place. Your emotions are going crazy. You're on the road, so it's loud. For the Browns to be able to settle the game down, set the tone of calm and peace, and allowing everybody to know we got this. Let's just put this in drive for a little bit. It makes for a lot easier of a day, and it did for the Browns. They finally were able to take a breath. And they weren't able to do that in the first few moments of this game. Then the unfortunate fumble by Porsche. My gosh, poor Porsche. Coming back to a place where he had come through the league. Poor guy just had a terrible muff punt and a terrible time in the game, critical time in the game. Felt like that was another play that was like, geez, here we go. The pick six to start the game, and that play in particular felt like, geez, forget it. And then the myriad of flags, 17-31. But because the tone and because the game had been set, mainly by the running game, it allowed the Browns to set a tone for this game. And they kind of, and again, like the Browns, give them credit in the second half, a great idea of what to do. Touchdown, bang, 24-31. And I told my son that time, I go, the Browns have got to get a turnover. That Porsche fumble, it's 2-1 now. You gotta, Browns are gonna have to get a turnover. And my God, they get a turnover. Ogbo tip, Newsome, touchdown, missed extra point. But they, again, got the stop they needed. And then for the first time I can remember since the team's been back, I was really trying to clock my brain on this. 4+ in time, the Browns said, we're not giving you the ball back. We're just going to sit on this ball, make plays, and score the game-winning field goal. Teller had a big play in this drive. Big fumble recovery, huge fumble recovery. Then the Ford push. Big throw by Watson on this drive for 17 yards to Cooper. And Hopkins to finish it off on a 33-31 victory. A complete team Browns victory. Complete. The comeback was complete. Hopkins redeemed. Porsche allowed to get back on the plane. Poor Porsche. Poor Porsche. And just a wonderful victory week. And against the Ravens, a team we've seen so many times get gut-wrenching losses and walk-off block field goals for touchdowns and all sorts of other crap throughout the years. But not on Sunday. Nope. Brown said enough of this narrative of negative. We're going to put a win in the win column. And my God, did they do that. Just a fabulous win. Fabulous. Marvelous. And for Deshaun Watson, he finally had his defining moment as a Brown. I wrote before the game on BelieveInLand.com, this is an excellent opportunity for the Browns to get their win that they needed. And he got this win. And he started this game off rocky. My God, he couldn't start it off any worse. But they were able to settle the game down, calm it down. And for Watkins, and for I'm sorry, not Watson. For not Watkins, Watson. For Watson, he has had a turmoil-filled career so far in Cleveland. For his off the field issues, which they were true, and he had to deal with those, and he needed to deal with them. What he did was wrong. Through some struggles on the field. Can I tell you how important that Arizona game was? That Arizona game was a gift from the NFL gods. The Browns sorely needed a game where the other team just didn't prepare. Cardinals so punted that game. The Browns never get games like this. They got one. They finally got them. It allowed Watson to do a reset. And here comes the Ravens. And it allowed him to reset. Didn't play a great game against the Cardinals, but he got some things he needed to get done. In this game, he struggled in the first half. But my gosh, he has won over this fan base today. I know he's won over me. How can he not? That contract that's been debated and debated will not be debated on Monday or this week. Watson got a career-defining win. And boy, if he could do the same thing against Steelers, career-defining moments. And what it was going to be maybe, and now they beat the Steelers on Sunday. A playoff. Yeah, we're going to talk playoffs. They beat the Steelers on Sunday. We're going to start talking about playoffs. How can you not? As we roll into Denver. Got to be the Steelers first, though. We all know that's not easy. Got to be Pitt. But for Watson, what a remarkable victory. Career-defined victory. And then there's Kevin Stefanski, who I've been very, very hard on. Who's had some head-scratching moments. Moments where I've lost my mind. Moments where I've just wanted to strangle myself as a Browns fan. Just be like, God, why am I doing this to myself on Sunday? But Stefanski got a career-defining win. Outside of the Pittsburgh victory, which was, we all know he wasn't there because of COVID, this was the victory. In fact, even in the run really one game, this was better. This win against the Ravens was that. It was that special on Sunday. Stefanski is going to get praised for a lot of things. I want to give him credit for that second quarter. There was a lot of things in that second quarter that Stefanski I've seen from past years would have gone for it, not taking the field goal, would have allowed the moment to get too big for this team and him. He did not do that on Sunday. He actually allowed the team to be successful by setting the tone, not by having to score so many points. The analytics, Kevin, took a seat. Good for him. Great win for Stefanski. And it makes me wonder if he's starting to figure it out and think, in fact, I think he might be. And I'm happy for him. He's a good man. He's such a good dude. And I'm happy for him. What a great win for Stefanski. Great moment for Hopkins to make the kick. Dustin Hopkins. May you ever be remembered. Ever be remembered. And what a win for the Browns. From Newsom's pick to a great game from Jerome Ford. Watson, again, career-defining victory. He flipped the narrative on Sunday. The narrative's been flipped. And set yourself up now for a huge game against Pittsburgh. Got to put this in the rearview mirror quickly starting today on Monday. Got to get ready for Pittsburgh. There are some things to clean up, and there's some injuries to be discussed. Is Denzel Ward going to be healthy? What is the status of DeJuan Jones? Can he play on Sunday against the Steelers? And what are they going to do the reverse narrative against Steelers, against Pitt, who they've had some big wins even before the season. So I don't want to act like there haven't been. But there's never been a victory like this against the Ravens. Never. To do this against the hated Ravens was ultra, ultra sweet. Big win on a great day. And Myles Garrett had big sacks in this game. Back-to-back, half sack and big sack. Everybody chipped in for this victory. David Njoku had many big moments in this game. They had drop early in this game, but he recovered from it. Amari Cooper just continues to excel. Kareem Hunt, big runs, touchdowns. Even Elijah Moore showed up. Haven't seen him all year, but welcome to the show. And what was a big victory for our Browns. Big victory. Hard to not get excited all week leading up to Pitt. Time to beat Pitt. And time to put this into cruise control. Because the Browns beat Pitt, they go to 7-3. 7-3. With a road trip that's not looking as daunting as it once did. Still never easy going to the West Coast. But all of a sudden, they're starting to chunk out the season pretty nicely. Great win, career-defining wins for Stefanski and Watson. Cavs. Nice win this week. And I only say a rare, and I shouldn't say nice. That's not even put in proper terms. We just talked about it with the Browns, as you say, with the Cavs. What a great victory they had against the Warriors. Swept the Warriors. Great win on Saturday night. Great win. Great weekend. My God, it was a great weekend to be Ohio. Ohio fans, that was fun. The Cavs gutted out of a win. They hadn't won in that area of the country is Golden State since 09-10. Got a rare sweep over the Warriors. Again, another team over my lifetime and not had a lot of success for. And my God, do we have a history with that club? And Draymond Green. That was sweet. That was sweet. They actually, in this little run, are starting to put some things together. Harris LeVert is real. I thought people were way too hard on him last year. He's having a good run right now. Jarrett Allen's playing. He's off to a very good start. Another guy I'm happy for. He's a good dude. Good man. Off to a good start. Cavs have to go back on the West Coast this week. Portland, Sacramento first on Monday. Portland, and then at home against Detroit on Friday. They have to figure out their tempo of this team. We just talked about tempo of the Browns. Cavs are defense first, not shoot first. They've had 4 games with the Pacers and the Thunder where the next day they played terrible in that one loss. But in the other 4 losses, all those losses I thought were because of tempo. The Cavs are not an up and down team. It's not their strength. Their strength is defense leading into good offense. Turnovers in offense, which they've done really well this year. Forcing turnovers into easy buckets. Cavs are doing that when they win. They do it really well. That's their tempo, not helter-skelter or three-point shooting. They can't outshoot the Thunder and the Pacers. They made some mistakes early on with that. You've got to figure out the tempo of this team. Garland and Mitchell are pretty much insane. Garland's got to clean up the turnovers when they're playing, and he knows that. He had a very sloppy game against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was a weird, disappointing game. They never allowed themselves to get into that game. But what we saw against the Warriors, beating them twice in 8 days, and is that we saw a team in the Cavs that they can play against a team that's pretty talented, actually. 7 days, I should say. They played them in 7 days twice. But they can, when they play a team like the Warriors, when they play their brand of basketball, I mean, they can beat a great team. There's a lot of high ceiling for the Cavs. They are not off to a hot start like they did last year. Maybe that's what's best for this team. I do want to give some hope. I think this is a long season for the Cavs where they're going to figure some things out. They are not off to a good start. But I'm seeing some signs where I think they're going to be okay. The biggest thing to me is the tempo. Playing with proper tempo, playing their game of basketball. Mobley, real quickly, has got to put aside his offensive goals and get back to what he does best. Against the Warriors, I saw the Mobley that we need. Guy plays great defense. He scrambles to get points. He's just not right now a guy who can do offense through him. It's just not, frankly, there. And I don't know if it will be there. There's still time in his career. He's still so young. But the Cavs don't have time to develop Mobley's offensive game. He needs development. So that's why it's got to be put aside right now. Cavs do need to start winning games. They have a very winnable game against Portland. Tough game against Sacramento on Monday night. But a very winnable game against Portland on the road. And then they got to beat the Pistons at home. They got to start putting some wins in their satchel. Huge win on Saturday night. Big game. And again, a typical game in the past, Cavs would have lost. The Cavs will sweep the Warriors like that. That was, even the 16 Cavs didn't do that. That was sweet. And yes, these are not the championship Warriors right now, but they're still a very good team. And the Cavs really gave them fits. Really gave them fits on Saturday night. And on a Sunday victory at home. Good week for the Cavs. Still not what we want to be recognized, but they're on their way. Tempo. The guards hired Stephan Vogt this week. They came out with that announcement. They definitely sniffed, from what I can tell, Council. Just didn't work out. Council ended up going to the Cubs. I think that was a bigger defeat for the Mets fans out there. But for us Guardians fans, too, it would have been nice to see him in town. But it really worked out. Bad loss for the Brewers. Not getting him, but that's another story for another podcast. For us and Vogt, the big thing that came across in the messaging from the guards and from Vogt is he's a very likable guy. He's definitely analytical. There's going to be a lot more of a collaborative process. We'll see if that works. Francona was definitely collaborative, yes, but we all know on managing game by game, it was Tito's calls. Not so sure how that's going to work with Vogt. And again, there might be some positives with that. We will see. Definitely think you're going to see more movement from Anthony and Chernoff on game day. Vogt seems like a likable guy, and that's what really came off the press conference. They are really big into collaboration, creating a positive culture. Tough to grade this right now. Very tough to grade. It's hard to say anything more than it feels like it's going to work. It should work. But to give it an F or D or an A, I mean, how can you do that? Guys unproven, never managed before. So this has to be given time to see what we have here. I will say Vogt's talking correctly. He wants to win, which is good. And you can tell he's a very likable guy. My one big message from this hire is the Guardians are very likable. You want to root for the Guardians. They're nice people. They're good people. But this is sports, and wins are wins. Will that translate into wins? We're going to find out. It's a very different era coming up this year. But Stephan Vogt liked what I heard. Nice guy. Guardians are creating a positive culture. Hopefully that translates into wins. The next big storyline coming up for the Guardians now is what do they do with Bieber? And of course, nothing really done on that yet. More to come on that. So Stephan Vogt, welcome to Cleveland. And then there's the Buckeyes. Wonderful victory, a victory they had to have. Easy layup. Spartans are terrible. Ohio State's in prime position to win again. Gophers are terrible. They're going to whip them. And that gets us right into, the Michigan game. A lot going on in Michigan. Michigan, from everything I'm reading and hearing, I don't know how you can think otherwise. They definitely cheated. In fact, that's why the Big Ten suspended Harbaugh, which was the right call. I don't understand some people nationally afraid to step on this issue that Michigan did this. That's why the Big Ten suspended Harbaugh. They didn't do it because it was fun. They didn't do it because they wanted to. They did it because they think the guy cheated. And I do too. Big Ten doesn't do that lightly. I've been surprised by some of the national reaction. Oh, I don't know. And is this too soon? I don't think it's fair. I think it's very fair. And Michigan's playing up to this whole villain theater pretty well. And they are a good team. It's going to set up for an excellent matchup because Michigan's going to blow out Maryland. It's going to be an epic game in 2 weeks. But for now, they beat the Spartans. Harrison should win the Heisman. I'm not going to get off that. He's going to have to do big things against Michigan. We all know that. But my God, his Heisman march has started. I don't understand how he's not more of a Heisman favorite. I really don't. He's having a bigger year than these quarterbacks. He is the best player in college football by far. By far. You can maybe argue the kid, Oregon Nix, maybe Penix, but even those two, I don't think it's comparable. Best player when they can build it. And making teams better is Harrison. He's that good right now. Buckeyes roll, but again, we all know what the big game is coming up. What a great week. What a great week for Cleveland sports. Hard not to get excited. But that Browns victory was one for the ages. One for the ages. But it's got to quickly turn going into Pitt. Career-defining win for Stefanski. Career-defining moment for Boston. And again, what was so great to see, they did it the right way. Setting the tone, trying to get everything back in one play. That was a grinding out, fun win. Magical win. At official Cleveland Sports for all, as soon as the Cavs games end, late on Monday, late on Wednesday, at official Cleveland Sports. After the Browns on Sunday, at official Cleveland Sports. Breaking news Guardians. At official Cleveland Sports. And of course, Buckeyes football too. BelieveInTheLand.com. That was the week that was in Cleveland sports. My name is Andy Billman, and you can see me smiling from miles away. Go, Cleveland, go. What a week. What a win. Especially over the hated Warriors and the hated Ravens. A city and a team that stole our team. To beat them like that is sweet, sweet revenge. Now it's time to beat the Steelers. Have a great week. See you here next week.